Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. We are from Group 6. Now, we're going to present result and discussion. Me, as a moderator, my name is Mansyarah Raudah. My partner, Daryl Katriana, as the first speaker, Widya Suryaningsih as the third speaker, and Mutasha Biha as the last speaker. Now, before we start our discussion, we have to inform you that one of our member group is not here. She is Anissa Putri Lubis because she has resigned from our college and she can't attend this Zoom meeting. Now, let's start our discussion. Start from Darul Katriana. For Daril Katriana, please take your time.
Okay, Daryl Katrina speaking. All right, thank you to Miss Moderator. Here I'm gonna tell you what is results and how do we to write good results. Results. We have often heard it in everything. Whatever has happened or what has not happened, even what will happen, must have results. Results occur because we have done something, such as when we have eaten, and then the results we become full. Then, when we are stressed, then we go on vacation and the results we become happy and stress is gone for a moment. But for this time, we will discuss the results in terms of writing a research. In every research we do, of course, there will be results that we will get through various data collection techniques. In the results section, we only list all of our research findings or research findings only, not include our interpretations of the findings. The length of the results section page is determined by the amount and type of data to be reported. So, the result of research is the process of organizing and grouping well information about an activity based on facts through the researcher's mind efforts in processing and analyzing research objects or topics systematically and objectively to solve a problem or test a hypothesis so that general principles or theories are formed. Or we can also say that the result is a thing that is caused or produced by because of something else. There are usually two ingredients of the results section. First, you should give some kind of overall description of the experiments, providing the big picture without or however repeating the experimental details previously provided in materials and methods. Second, you should present the data. Your results should be presented in the past tense exactly. When formulating the results section, it's important to remember that the results prove nothing. Findings can only confirm or refute the research hypothesis on which your research is based. However, the act of articulating the results helped you to understand a problem from within, break it down into sections, and to view a research problem from multiple perspectives. In deciding what data to describe in your results section, you should clearly distinguish the information typically included in a research paper from a raw data or other content that could be included as an appendix. Avoid providing unnecessary data to answer research questions. The background information you describe in the introduction should provide the reader with the additional context or explanation needed to understand the results. A good strategy is to always reread the background section of your paper after you have written your result to ensure that the reader has sufficient context to understand the results. And then how you will interpret the results in the discussion section of your paper. Next, we move to the discussion section. the way of how we can write a good results. So now we come to the core of the paper, the data. This part is of the paper is called the results section. A most analysis of the results section of academic articles either looks like this. Move 1. You can state the main findings in order first, then you can relating them in turn to the hypothesis and methods used. Second, move 2, you can state the subsidiary findings. Then you can relating them in turn to the hypothesis and methods used. Or it is an interweaving of the two, the first set of main findings and related subsidiary ones, followed by the second set and so on. It is typical in results sections to present the main data that support or reject the hypothesis in the form of tables and graphs. Okay, thank you. That's all for my explanation. I give it back to the Miss Moderator.
Okay, thanks to Dr. Katriana. Now it's my turn. There are 3 more tips about writing a result. First, how to handle numbers. If one or only a few determinations are to be presented, they should be treated descriptively in the text. Repetitive determinations should be given in tables or graphs. Any determinations, repetitive or otherwise, should be meaningful. Suppose that in a particular group of experiments, a number of variables were tested. Those variables that affect the reaction become determination or data. And if extensive, are tabulated or graphed. Those variables that don't seem to affect the reaction need not to be tabulated or presented. However, it's often important to define even the negative aspect of your experiments. It's often good insurance to state what you didn't find under the conditions of your experiments. Someone else very likely may find different results under different conditions. If statistics are used to describe the results, they should be meaningful statistics. Second, strive for clarity. The results should be short and sweet without verbiage. Although the results section of a paper is the most important part, it's often the shortest, particularly if it's preceded by a well-written materials and methods section and followed by a well-written discussions. The results need to be clearly and simply stated because it's the results that constitute the new knowledge that you are contributing the world. The last is avoid redundancy. The most common fault is the repetition in words of what is already apparent to the reader from examination of the figures and tables. Don't be verbose in citing figures and tables. Don't say it's clearly shown in table 1 that nosylin inhibited blah blah blah. Say nosylin inhibited the growth and gonorrhea, table 1. Okay, we move to another slide about discussion. Discussion is a conversation about somebody or something, or the process of discussing somebody or something. The discussion is harder to define than the other sections. Thus, it's usually the hardest section to write. And whether you know it or not, many papers are rejected by journal editors because of a faulty discussion. Even though the data of the paper might be both valid and interesting, even more likely the true meaning of the data may be completely obscured by the interpretation presented in the discussion, again resulting in rejections. Okay, that's all from me. We'll move to Widya Suryaningsi. For Widya Suryaningsi, take your time.
Okay, thank you to moderator. How to write the discussions. First, try to present the principles, relationships, and generalizations shown by the results. Second, point out any exceptions or any large of correlations and define uncertainty points. Third, show how your results and interpretations agree or contrast with previous published work. Fourth, don't be shy. Discuss the theoretical implications of your work as well as any possible practical applications. Five, state your conclusions as clearly as possible. Six, summarize your evidence for its conclusions. Back to moderator.
Okay, thank you, Widya Suryaningsih. Now we move to another slide. Mutasha Biha, take your time.
All right, thank you, Miss Moderator. Okay, I will tell you tips how to write the discussion. The first tip is writers should keep notes about what it might be useful to include in the discussion as ideas occur to them when they are writing other section. The second is it might be wise to set aside a day or two to tackle this section of the paper. The purpose of these tips in writing discussion, the writer must prepare what must be prepared or what are important things to be discussed in the article with the aim that the reader can find out the purpose of the research in the article. Next, moderator. So we can see the example results that are united with discussion. In this paragraph, the section that show the result is underlined, while the next section is discussion. In writing the result, we can write the result of the research through the data collection method of or from the data we get. We can obtain this data in various ways. For example, through direct surveys, or we can get from various search of books and journals. To start a new paragraph, we can continue to use the result of other research, or if the above explanation is not finished, we can start a new paragraph by continue our discussion, such as discussing the implication of our findings. And to make it easier to read article that unite user and discussion, this section are often given subheading, which are defined according to the main result. Generally, we start a paragraph with the result of our research, which is then followed by the discussion explaining why and how this result can be obtained. And the end, the unity between paragraph is the key how to write a complete discussion. You have be able to see how the overall result and the discussion achieve the purpose of writing and answer the hypothesis. In writing discussion, avoid things that are speculative. Speculative means an explanation that is beyond our results. For the example, our result only showed that a lot of people get lung disease because of smoking. So in this discussion, we only need to explain why many people get lung disease and why so many people like to smoke. Okay, that's all. Back to the Miss Moderator. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's all from us. That's all our discussion. We're sorry if we have mistake in preparing our discussion. We're sorry if we have a mistake in presenting our PPT. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.